let's do this one. What's going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you, as we are now on the 23rd edition of my SummerSlam Retro and Review series. We're now on SummerSlam 2010. We're in the home stretch. We only have a handful more SummerSlams left to go over. Now, this SummerSlam, which of course took place at the Staples Center in LA, as SummerSlams 2009 to 2014 took place there, and 2015, 16, and 17, we all know, took place at the Barclays Center, and this year's will take place at the Barclays Center also, which next year's apparently will not. But this SummerSlam is known for the main event. That main event 7-on-7 elimination tag team match that featured Team WWE versus the Nexus. And of course, as we all know, it did not go the right way. Well, the wrong person went over. The person I didn't need to go over at all went over. We'll talk about that later on, and I'll probably do a little bit of ranting on that to begin with when we get there, because it definitely killed a lot of momentum from a faction that could have made a huge difference. Could have, built a lot of new stars from that faction, especially the leader of the Nexus. But apparently it did not go. It all went south, and part of it was, well, the biggest problem was because what happened with this match. So let's get right into it. This show took place on August 15th, 2010, as I said, at the Staples Center in LA. There was only 6 matches though on this card though because of the the 7-on-7 tag match going on for a while. Just 6 matches in 3 hours on SummerSlam. Now we get 12 matches in 4 hours. Oh gosh, don't get me started again on how long these shows are getting. But anyways, let's get right into it. We opened up with an Intercontinental Championship match. It was Dolph Ziggler taking on Kofi Kingston. Of course, Vicky Guerrero was in Dolph Ziggler's corner. Now, this match wasn't too bad. It started off a little slower, but then the pace started to pick up a little bit as it went on. It definitely was not close to being on the level as the match with Dolph Ziggler and Rey Mysterio was from SummerSlam 2009, which that year Dolph was challenging for the IC title. This time he was the Intercontinental Champion and Vicky Guerrero was in his corner. They were together until end of 2012 when Dolph started going out with AJ Lee. All I gotta say about her. Anyways, documentary punk. But anyways, getting back to this. The match they had wasn't too bad. It was starting to pick up though. And then, of course, the Nexus invaded and beat down on both Kofi and Dolph, since, they were about themselves and nobody else in the WWE. They wanted to take over WWE. And pretty much just got on the microphone saying that they're leaving a statement what they were going to do later on. Because you're either Nexus or you're against us, as Wade Barrett would say. I should have worn my Bad News Barrett shirt for this review. The beatdown happening, it felt necessary, especially with, the match later on in the show. I felt though this was not the right match though to do that. I felt. It could have been any match, but a match like this with Kofi and Dolph at SummerSlam could have been a hidden gem, or even a show steal or whatnot. They would have gotten more time. The match was just starting to get on a level. I felt that it was going to have eventually pretty the caliber of this match was just getting to the level it could have been when the Nexus came out and interrupted it. So that's what happened with that. But, it still was average, I'd say. It would have been better if there wasn't the interference. It would let them fight a little bit longer and, have the decision in it. But, I just would have liked to see the Nexus beat down for a different match, not just the Intercontinental Championship match between Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston. It could have worked much better. Heck, last year there was that match with Jack Swagger and MVP. They could have done it then, in my opinion. But what do I know? But yeah, no contest because of the beatdown for the Nexus. Average grade. Backstage we had The Miz, who was, now here's the thing. Team WWE was in need of a 7th member for their team because the Great Khali was written off due to injury. And Miz was the biggest hope for Team WWE to get. But he was debating whether he wanted to join the team or not, pretty much. And then we had Chris Jericho and Edge, who were the heels of Team WWE. The only 2 heels that were on that team. Because, as you remember also, they were both, well, again, they're both heels. Edge came back in 2010 with the in the Royal Rumble as a face, but when he got drafted over the Raw, he was a heel, and when he went back to SmackDown, he was a babyface again. Now, Edge and Jericho still were about having big egos as a heel, so that was story going into the match, because they at first, weren't on the same page, with the rest of the Team WWE members going into this match, and they got on the same page, after what happened in the main event match. They also like to point out also that a lot of these guys were the Nexus rookies on season 1 of NXT, pretty much. But I keep getting off track. But anyways, Edge and Jericho were backstage talking to The Miz, trying to from a heel perspective of why they should try to join Team WWE and whatnot. So Miz was still thinking about it. We had that segment. We had Alicia Fox taking on Melina for the Divas Championship. Why was Alicia Fox ever Divas Champion to begin with? This match is a typical Alicia Fox match we would still get today in WWE. Boring, pointless, doesn't look like it needed to happen at all. However, Melina does win the match, become Divas Champion. Melina had been out since January, I think it was, with a knee injury. So that was a story going on there. And afterwards, we had Michelle McCool and Layla come out. Leigh Cole. Michelle was the women's champion over on, I think the women's title was on SmackDown and the Divas champions on Raw. I think it was the case. They came out pretty much supposed to, and just, we're trying to, be cocky and whatnot to Melina. Tried taking selfies with Melina, but Melina pushed each of them away as it happened. Then they got involved in a brawl. They even, kicked Alicia Fox out to the curb, and they beat down on them as well, just to show that they're the two most powerful women on the roster, pretty much for the most part. So we got that. I mean, I enjoy that more than the match. The match was pointless, even though Melina won, thank goodness. And then we had this match. It was a 3-on-1 handicap match. It was Big Show taking on the Straight Edge Society, CM Punk, Luke Gallows, and Joey Mercury, with Serena with Serena Deeb in their corner. I guess the Big Show was feuding with CM Punk as the Big Show exposed CM Punk's bald head, because if you remember, Punk had to go bald because he lost that hair match or whatever it was with Rey Mysterio, and that's around the time where Punk had his laser eye surgery, and he was gone for like a couple weeks. He came back, had the mask over his head because he didn't want people to see his bald head, and then after that's why Punk and Big Show were feuding, because Big Show exposed Punk's bald head. This was also close to the time where they were about to break up the Straight Edge Society, because they're just going to break it off. I mean, again, it was a stable that definitely could have done a lot more with than what they did. But I don't think Gallows and Mercury were ready yet to be really baby faces, because Punk was going to be staying as the heel pretty much if that was the case, because they didn't stick around much longer after that. The match was all right, I'd say. It wasn't really anything too spectacular. It was tornado rules, so I mean, all three of them could attack the Big Show at once. They even had a spot in the promo, that is, where they were holding down Big Show's hand on the steel steps, smashing it, because they knew that his weapon of mass destruction, they called it WMD, was probably his bread and butter pretty much. But Big Show eventually does win the match, though. So I mean, the match was okay for what it was, but why did Big Show really need this? I mean, all respect to Big Show, but it's just at this point, it's starting to get to the time where it's he doesn't need anything else. Pretty much, I felt. He had another world title run right later on down the line. Well, two were actually down the line, because he did have the short one with Daniel Bryan. But yeah, that pretty much was it for that match. Big Show wins. Sheamus versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. Again, as I said before, I do respect Sheamus. Sheamus is definitely a great wrestler. He has all the aesthetics and whatnot, the tools being a brawler, and to be put in, a great entertainer as a wrestler. But especially in the beginning, he had a bland character who just got lucky with winning a championship. He won the championship by pushing John Cena through a table. And then he feuded with Orton at Royal Rumble. There was no finish there. He lost it in Chamber after being just the second or third person eliminated from the match. It was right in the middle, so the champion was eliminated very early, making him look like a joke. He got the title back after the Nexus invaded at Fatal 4-Way, the pay-per-view Fatal 4-Way, that is. And then Nexus invaded again in the steel cage match, and that's why he won there. But this match, the stipulation was anybody who interfered in this match would get years. I can't remember, suspended or terminated. One of the two. Of course, Randy Orton, was now a babyface, but he was still kind of carried over, that psychotic, character who, if you mess with, you really set him off pretty much. Just like he had pretty much the same character he had for the Triple H and Randy Orton feud, except this time Orton's a babyface pretty much. He had that, making Orton look as an intimidating babyface, but people wanted to cheer for him to just destroy everybody in sight. This match started off really slow. Again, like the matches they have had, like I've never really been too impressed with. But I'll give credit that the last like 5 minutes of this match, it did finally start to pick up with some of the close near falls. But most of it was kind of boring. It was kind of bland. It wasn't bad, but I was bored. I'm like I can't really say this match is that great. Last 5 minutes were all right, but then Sheamus, after hitting Orton with a bro kick, after Orton escaped from also his high cross slam thing where he is, Sheamus hit a bro kick on Orton, but Orton kicked out of that, and then I guess Sheamus was about to give up on it. He grabbed the steel chair. He went to go into the ring and try to hit with it. The referee was holding on, and Sheamus was turned the table and threw the referee out of the ring. And before Sheamus even hit the steel chair on Orton, the referee called for the bell, so the match was about to get out of hand. Afterwards, Sheamus goes to hit Orton with the chair. Then Orton knocks out his hand, takes the upper hand, and eventually hits Sheamus with an RKO onto the table. And that's how we leave. I know Orton won the title a month later at Night of Champions in a six-pack challenge, and he would feud with Sheamus at Hell in a Cell, and then go on a feud with Wade Barrett for most of the rest of the year before dropping that title to Miz cashing in. So, match, I'd say average. I mean, again, these two have potential. I think he had the tools to put on a good match, but I don't know if it's just the chemistry's off between them, or, again, to say this booked Sheamus as a really bad heel champion, in his world title runs, again, for the most part, I thought he just wasn't really booked that great as a world champion, especially here. So, average match, nothing else to say about it. Now, this match wasn't too bad. It was Kane taking on Rey Mysterio for the World Heavyweight Championship. Throughout the summer of 2010, Undertaker disappeared. Apparently, somebody beat down Undertaker, and Undertaker was believed to be dead or whatnot. How heck the storyline was. And then, Kane was persecuting everybody, and then he cashed in on Rey Mysterio at Money in the Bank to win the World Championship. And then Kane started claiming that it was Rey Mysterio who was the one who attacked Undertaker, but Mysterio claims it was Kane who did it. The match happened. It was pretty much making Kane look like a dominating champion, which wasn't a bad idea because Kane never really got too many shots with being the world champion in his career. Well, being the world champion, I mean, he had a couple title opportunities, but as far as being the champion, didn't happen that often. It showed that Mysterio tried to get some offense in, but he never really got any big moments. Like Kane was just looked too dominant, really dominating. I felt in the match. Of course, there was a casket out of ringside. It wasn't a casket match, but Kane wanted to stuff Mysterio into the casket. He would eventually win the match. Mysterio got himself out of several jams, but Kane still just it was a match to make Mysterio look like he was strong, and he was able to hang with Kane, but Kane was just prepared for everything he did. But it didn't make Mysterio look weak, though, at least. Eventually, Mysterio would lose to a choke slam. After the match, he goes to try to get Mysterio into the casket. Mysterio got away, closes the casket again. Kane opens up the casket once more, and the Undertaker's in there. Taker rolled out, and then, Kane was telling, it was him and whatnot. And he corners Mysterio. Now, there wasn't a microphone on Taker. You can hear Taker saying, and Taker first was playing along, saying that, he thought it was Rey. And then Rey was like, I didn't mean to do it. And then he goes, okay, I believe you or whatnot. And then he turns out it looks like Kane, and they start brawling because it was obvious that Taker even knew himself that it was Kane who attacked him 60 or 90 days prior to this. That's what wrote him off TV for a while. And they went at it, but Kane came out on top, hitting Taker with the tombstone. So it set up the feud we got for the fall for the world title on SmackDown between Kane and Undertaker. So I thought it was one of the better parts of the show. That was a good match between Kane and Mysterio. The brawl between Kane and Taker wasn't too bad either. So good match. Good point in the show. And then finally we got to our main event. It was the 7-on-7 elimination match. Team WWE, which at the time, before the 7-man was revealed, it was John Cena, Bret the Hitman Hart, because, he was the Raw general manager at the time or whatnot, and Nexus beat down on him in a limousine. R-Truth, Edge, Chris Jericho, and John Morrison. Those were the 6 so far. The 7th member at first was supposed to be the Great Khali, which thank God he got written off. I mean, they wrote him off injury storyline-wise, but still, thank goodness he wasn't in this match. Against Team Nexus, which was, I can remember all the names, Wade Barrett, Justin Gabriel, Skip Sheffield, who was Ryback, Michael Tarver, David Otunga, Heath Slater, and Darren Young. I believe I mentioned all of them. If I repeated anything, I'm sorry. So the Nexus come out first, and John Cena's team comes out one by one to their theme music. And then The Miz came out. And for first, you're probably thinking that The Miz is going to be the 7-member team that we decided to be there. But then Cena takes the mic and says, "Stop! Nope, sorry, Miz, it's not you." He says, "We couldn't have someone wait till the last minute though, to be on our team. So that's why we got someone else, someone who hates the Nexus as much as we do." The 7th member of Team WWE is Daniel Bryan. And this was Daniel Bryan's return to WWE after he previously was the Nexus. If you remember when the Nexus debuted, he was part of that beatdown. But of course, he got fired for choking Justin Roberts with his tie, and also he spit on John Cena apparently. Even though I'm sure a lot of people have done that, and they gave them like a warning, but they just fired Bryan right away. Which again, Vince chooses when he wants to do things, pretty much. The thing, of course, which I haven't seen, much of like a post Raw or something like that, but Cena claims that Bryan hates the Nexus just as much as them. Well, why though? I mean, again, they might have explained it on Raw or so afterwards, which I would check out definitely to see if that was the case. But like, why would he say that if Daniel Bryan was part of the Nexus? That's the only time we've seen him on the main roster is when he was with Nexus. But Bryan came out to some like Motorhead type theme music or something like that, which sounded cool, but definitely would not fit a guy like Daniel Bryan. Because you see Daniel Bryan coming out to music where he coming down like walking like he's angry and whatnot. You would have thought he'd be coming out just doing the yes movement to that, which they finally did change the theme music like a month later before his match with Miz at Night of Champions. But anyways, that evens up at 7-on-7. They get out, they go into the ring, they start brawling before they settle down. The match started with Daniel Bryan and Darren Young. Bryan gets in the tap in 40 seconds, which was, a good move. There was some good times that they tagged in and out, but Team WWE, Team Nexus wasn't tagging out too much at first at the beginning. And then John Morrison was in the ring, and he took out Michael Tarver with a Starship Press. But then Skip Sheffield got in the match when it was 7-on-5. Because Skip Sheffield, who, as we all know, ended up being Ryback, he was kind of like, the powerhouse, the enforcer of the Nexus, pretty much. He was like second or third best, I'd say, for the Nexus. Like, Wade Barrett's meant to be the leader, of course. And I thought of all members of the Nexus, I think they booked him the strongest in this match. He got in there, and he eliminated John Morrison and R-Truth. And then here's a part that kind of got my head scratching. That kind of made me look stupid. Bret Hart was in the ring. He was about to put the sharpshooter. I think it was on Sheffield. I think it was. I can't remember who it was. And then someone randomly throws in a chair. And now I know that the Nexus had done a lot to him, but Bret Hart picks up the chair. He didn't even hit him with the chair, and they called it for disqualification. Or wait, maybe he did hit the chair. I can't remember now. But still, it was just like, why would Hart go for the chair? If he's supposed to be a babyface, then why would he just, he would go for the chair like that? It just seemed like very out of place. It seemed like just odd. He just looked down, saw a chair there, he goes over to grab it. To me, it kind of made it look a little stupid the way it did that. So if they would have done something to build up his anger a little bit more, then grab the chair, then okay, that would make a little more sense. Like, he got his anger to him. But it felt pointless. Like, why did they do that spot? So Hart got disqualified. But then Edge got in there, and actually, first, Jericho was in the match. He hit Sheffield with the code breaker, and then he tagged in Edge, and Edge hit him with the spear. Which I liked how they had to take 2 finishing moves to take out Sheffield. They're trying to make him look strong again, because of all the people, I thought he looked the strongest out of all the members of the Nexus in this match. Unfortunately, we all know how Ryback's career would go after that when he came back as Ryback after the Nexus thing was pretty much doomed. But we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, so Sheffield gets eliminated after a spear by Edge. And then Jericho gets Otunga eliminated by the Walls of Jericho. But then things started to go a little downhill. For Team WWE. As Jericho was pushed into John Cena and knocked over Cena. Then Slater, hit Sweetness on Jericho to eliminate him. And then both Edge and Cena get in the ring at the same time. And now keep in mind that Cena at this point had not been in the match yet. And Edge, of course, as again, a story with both Jericho and Edge being the heels, having their egos getting in, I think they can do it all in this match of everybody. And you do see Edge saying, "This is what I'm talking about," which, in some cases he is right. John Cena always had made it about him, and that's what he came across as, and that's why people soured on him. At the same time, Cena did have a point. He had not been in the match yet. Everybody else but him was in the match. So Edge, Cena steps out, I was like, okay, that's fine. I get it. Steps out, but then after Cena stepped out, off a distraction, Slater rolled up Edge. And afterwards, Edge speared Cena, off of the apron, and then him and Jericho did a brief assault on Cena and whatnot. Of course, Jericho's like, "You're a stupid man! You're a stupid man!" Pretty much. Then beating down Cena a little bit after the match. And then, of course, Nexus came around and threw Cena back in the ring. Daniel Bryan was still in the match, keep in mind. But Bryan would eventually get back in, and he would get Slayer to tap out through the lapel lock. Now, here's where I felt they went wrong. Miz came out. Now, again, the story made sense. The Miz was Daniel Bryan's rookie. And the story between them is that everybody thought that Daniel Bryan was better than the Miz. And that, Miz should be Daniel Bryan's rookie instead of the role should be flip-flopped. Miz came out with both Bryan and Cena still in the match. And he took out Daniel Bryan when the referee was distracted, hitting him with his Money in the Bank briefcase. Barrett got him and pinned him for the win, making it 2-on-1 with John Cena against Wade Barrett and Justin Gabriel. I'll explain that in a second of why I thought that was a bad move there. Because then, Justin Gabriel goes to do his 450 splash on Cena. Cena moved out of the way, and then Gabriel just landed on his stomach where his elbow ran into his stomach. And then Cena turned around and just pinned him, and that's how Gabriel got eliminated. I thought they made him look stupid there. And then Cena gets Wade Barrett to tap out. As in the interview, Wade Barrett says that, the Nexus really thought that they should have won that match. And everybody agrees. Nexus should have won that match. And they said they were going with that. And when they finally, talk to Vince the day of the show and get the plan, they tell him, eliminations, and he says, and then Gabriel and Barrett get eliminated by Cena. John's going over. And, and Barrett asked him, why is Cena going over? What does he need to gain from this? And the answer from from Vince was, SummerSlam has to have a happy ending. Hello, do you remember SummerSlam 2013? That didn't have a happy ending. SummerSlam 2014, your Golden Boy Cena got squashed by Brock Lesnar. Was that a happy ending? 2015, well, it wasn't quite a clean finish between Taker and Lesnar, but it still was decent. SummerSlam 2016 did not have a happy ending because Brock Lesnar pretty much TKO'd Randy Orton. Oh, and if you mention the following year, CM Punk won his match, but then Kevin Nash came in and crashed the party, and then Alberto Del Rio cashed in to win it. And Punk was the hottest thing over the time. How is that a happy ending? So don't give me this excuse of SummerSlam had to have a happy ending. That's why Cena had to win. No. There was no need for Cena to win this match. What they could have done is, this is how I would have booked the finish to this match. Daniel Bryan. And here's the thing. Actually, let's go back a little bit further. Edge and Chris Jericho could have beaten down on Cena worse than they already did, causing the Nexus to be able to, get Cena eliminated. And have Daniel Bryan, maybe have him come back down to Daniel Bryan and Wade Barrett or whatnot. And have The Miz come out then, and not while Cena's still in the match, have him come out then and ruin the moment to set up Daniel Bryan versus The Miz for the United States Championship. That would have been good. Even if they would have had Daniel Bryan win the match and be the sole survivor for Team WWE. That would have been worth it. Cena winning it, the guy who got how many title opportunities, did not need this win. It did make sense. Why did Cena and the Nexus continue the feud even after this? They could have gone the route with, Nexus winning. And then Cena loses to Wade Barrett again at Hell in a Cell like he did. Of course, they could have booked a little bit better, not having Cena there every single week, even after he was fired. And then, Cena maybe could have overcame Barrett at the end. At least, Cena may have won the battle, but Barrett would have won the war. Nexus would have won the war in some cases. But no. Why did Cena have to win this match? SummerSlam having a happy ending is complete bullshit, Vince. That is bullshit. because it was a good match, I thought. And then, like, you could tell when it came down to Cena, Gabriel, and Barrett, it just looked like nobody cared. You had your winner of Season 1 of NXT, Wade Barrett, who had so much potential, tap out. And Justin Gabriel get pinned after trying his 450 shooting star press. He missed him, hits a mat. That's how he gets the win out of him, and he gets pinned. That's ridiculous! I don't get it. That pissed me off. I mean, the match was not too bad until after Bryan got eliminated. Then it just went. If it was for that, just that little tweak, it would have been a good match. But Cena's a sole survivor, of course. Oh well, Cena wins again. All respect to Cena. Definitely done a lot of good things to his company, but he did not need to win this match. And I didn't mean to go on a rant because this movie's like this video is 26 seconds, and I didn't 26 seconds. Wow, minutes. And I didn't think this movie would be that long because of that. But that is pretty much it, guys, for SummerSlam 2010. Even though the finish for that match was not good, it was still a good match. You know, Kane, Mysterio was good. Everything else was just meh. That's why this show gets an average grade. I give this show a C. What are your thoughts on SummerSlam 2010? Leave thoughts down in the comment section below. And so I just want to click my like and subscribe for more content on my channel and follow me on Twitter at DemandAirboy93. I'll catch you guys next time for my SummerSlam 2011 review, which I think is one of the best SummerSlams of all time. In the top 5, I'd say. But until then, guys, I'm checking out. Have a great night, and I'll see you all later. Peace out, everybody.